Hey everybody, welcome back. Chega by Jobim. We had a request for this song. It's called No More Blues, is the English title of the song. And it's kind of a two-part song. It's one of these long-form type songs like the Stefanato. It's really long. And it's really in two parts, a D minor part and a D major part. So I'm just going to give you some of my little insights as to the harmony of the song and leave it at that. So it's a bossa nova. I had a recent comment saying bossa nova is legato. It's a smooth type of thing, unlike a samba or salsa, which is a little bit more staccato and upbeat. So we got D minor. Lots we can do with D minor, and just play about any white note you want to. Always like to put that fourth in there if it's doesn't offend anybody. And then, we've got like a D minor 7 with a C in the bass, so we'll accommodate that. And if you're playing with a bass player, you can do that, or you can ignore it. It doesn't really matter. Let the bass player do it. You can do it yourself. I love this kind of chord. E7, I guess you call that second inversion since the B's on the bass. Here's a good voicing. I got the flat 9 in on that one. Now, I said I was going to do a video about this type of chord, minor 7 flat 5, sometimes called a half diminished chord. And you'll find if you go back to old fake books that you'll rarely see this chord. You'll see more often, like say instead of an E minor 7 flat 5, you will see in the fake book a G minor 6. And of course, the notes are the same. You would say these chords are enharmonic. So right now we've got a kind of an unusual situation. We've got E minor 7 flat 5 and the melody note being F. All right, now that's legal in my universe. But like if you thought of that as a G minor 6 chord and then add the 7 to it, I have nothing against dissonance, you understand, but it might be better to just call that a G minor chord, all right? And instead of having a 2-5, E minor 7 to A7, you'd have a 4-5, the minor 4 to the 5. And that would support the melody note a little better. And right here, this is one of those things you got to be careful when you're reading charts. The chord is A7, and then you see this D flat up there. It probably should be written as a C sharp, especially in the key of D minor. But, these were college students that made these real books. So, hey, let's give them a break. All right, so let's try that G minor there. Sounds good. And here we have D minor, and you see the melody notes in ninth, so voicing like that might work. Now here, E minor 7 flat 5 works a little better, because that's a real strong, 2-5-1 going back to D minor here. So was the other one, but this one's like at the end of the 8th bar, so you feel it more. So now we've got oh, that reminds me so much of a song, the Steely Dan song, The Goodbye Look. Oh, that's such a good song. We should do that one someday. And here you could do a little drop too, and then you get to B flat major 7th. Here's one of those spots. I talked about this recently in my talking about open voicings when we were taking chords through the cycle. And we said that, the formula for a major 7th chord with the root on top is this, 1, 7, 3, 5, 1. Standard formula. But you get a pretty horrible clash there, unless it's in a nice spot like this. See, that sounds good. I like that. So, yeah, add the 9 in there, soften it up a little bit. And here's our minor 7 flat 5 again. And moving on. once again, I use the G minor. Okay, let's see what we got here. Once again, if you left that E out on the bass there, this is probably the way the guitar player voiced the chord, and it just sounded that way. But I think, you could just go G minor to A7. All right, now here we're going to run into a little trouble. All right, now I talked about this chord too. This was the chord. It was a minor 7 flat 5 with a 13 on top. So anyway, what you could do here is you could go B minor 7 flat 5 and change it to like E7, all right? And then to the E minor 7 and then the A7, all right? Or how about this? See what I did? I went B minor 7 to E7, and then G minor 7. Sorry. Now here we have an A7, and you could play something like an A7 with a 9 or a 13, kind of hint that you're going into a major key. Or you could play it with a lot of kind of, tensions that will make everybody think that you're going to a minor key. I mean, back to a D minor. That's where everybody's ears are, because so far the 32 bars of the song have been in the key of D minor. So now we go to D major. I think I'd do it that way. I'd put some altered tensions in there and let the D major be a surprise. All right. Take a little coffee break, and then we'll cover the D major section. Okay, D major. All right, now here we have a B7 flat 13 with D sharp in the bass. Yikes. But, it's easy to do. If you think about the rootless voicing for a B7 altered, right? Flat 13, that's your cue, that's your tip-off that it's an altered dominant. So, all right, there's a sharp 9, and then we put the flat 13 in like that, and that's our rootless voicing. It could be for F unaltered, dominant 7th, but B altered. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Now a little reharmonization without change, that wouldn't throw the bass player off, because you just change the quality of the chord a little bit. And then we're on to E minor. Now, that's a 13 on A7, so you have to kind of know that it's a 13 and play a voicing that sounds good with the 13. You could put the flat 9 in, but that's probably about as far out as you could get. We've got D diminished. That's a whole tone extension. Yeah, that's kind of a neat chord for that. And then, now I haven't talked about this too much. We've been mostly just finding good chords and using the formulas and everything. But chords need to flow from one to the other. So you look at this chord and think, how could that flow to the next chord? Well, if you move this note up and this note up and that one down and this one up, then the chord is pretty nicely a voice-led. There's good voice leading there. And some things to consider is like how much dissonance is in the first chord, and then, or how many notes are in the first chord, and then how many notes are in the second chord. If you're going from like 8 notes to 3 notes, or 4 notes to 10 notes, it's not going to sound as smooth as if you go from, say, 6 notes to 5 notes, or 6 notes to 6 notes. All right, let's keep going. Let's not get stuck on this. All right. So that's just using left-hand voicings, but I could do... that's the standard formula, 1, 7, 3, 5, 1. You can do it on diminished chords too. Look for places to do the whole. Anytime you have a diminished chord, you look for the best place to do that whole tone extension. I think it would be right here. So, yeah. And then we've got E minor 11th. All right. Now it's a beautiful chord, but I don't think it was very good voice leading from the chord I played before. Let's see if I can do something better here. So I had what? Yeah, see I was on here and then I went to there. So that's good voice leading there. G minor 6 chord instead of E minor 7 flat 5, and if there's any bass players watching these videos, when you see that minor 7 flat 5 chord, you could try doing the third of the chord, and that gives you a minor 6 chord, and it's just good for variety. All right, D major. Now we're getting close to the end of the song. Why not put a nicer chord in here? However, we have got some nice motion going on here, so maybe we don't want to get too fancy. What do you do when you have that bass note that, what kind of standard voicing? Is there a chart for this? Is there some kind of a rule? Not that I know of. You just got to find something that sounds nice. Yeah, I like that. Now, sometimes you see these chord symbols up there and you're not sure where to play the chord. Well, D major's on beat 1. Beat 3 is going to be with the C sharp in the bass. And then you can anticipate the B minor when you play that melody note, an 8th note before the measure. So counting it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Well, that's probably the smoothest way of doing it. There you go. Now here we've got chord symbols here that do not fit the melody. No, maybe they do. You could just leave it out. Here we've got a B flat 7th that doesn't quite fit the melody of the song. It kind of does, but you could do something like make it a little diminished chord or something like that. That probably works a little better. And G major 9th and C 13. I see the sharp 11 in there. So we've got, I don't know, you might want to have to reach a 10th here. Now see, you could jump away from always putting the root. If it's like a 2-5-1 like this is, you've got F sharp minor, and then the 5 chord. Yeah, we've got a few clashes in the melody here, but I think you just go with it. So what's that little? It's like a little accent there. So maybe you would, you'd probably put the E minor there. So. back to D minor again. So it's a nice little song. Don't know how popular it is these days, but all right, folks. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down in the comment section. I try to respond to as many as I can. I do see all the comments. So thank you very much.